Hello, I'm Graham Elwood, and welcome to the political vigilante shining light kind of on the world. It's more in the ceiling, but that's my Dark Knight drawing. So, I just did a video about how the corn industry could get really affected by Trump's tariff increase on Mexican products. But I've been trying to figure out, the keep America safe and we're going to round up the immigrants, when he was talking about the rapists and the drug dealers are all coming over from Mexico. And I was like, I don't doubt that he's racist and his staff is racist, but it's for him, it is all about money. I'm like, where's the money in building this wall and rounding? I mean, that's going to be a huge expense. Do you want to round up all these people? I mean, Obama rounded up almost 250,000 people last year himself. So, and Trump is doing more of it now. I'm like, where is the money? Like, that's going to be an insane cost. Oh, this article in The Intercept by Lee Fang. I'm reading a lot of Lee Fang. It came out February 22nd. Trump's new immigration crackdown has private prison investors salivating. Whew, this explains a lot. What Lee Fang goes into, and I love Lee Fang's stuff. The more I'm reading, it's great. He really uncovers, he connects the dots. It's pretty fantastic of what he does here, and I'll go into the specifics, but these private prison organizations are already funding the border security and stuff like that. So we're not just going to round them up and send them home. Trump wants to end what was known as the catch and release. He wants to make them have prison sentences. If they're released and sent back and they're caught again, then they have to do prison time. So the private prison sector is like, oh, there's not enough prison beds. So they're going to get all these contracts. All of these contracts, and their stock is going through the roof because Obama was threatening to end private prison contracts for federal prisons, and their stocks went down. And then, this is weird, then they all donated into Trump's super PACs and his campaign, and then here we are. So now it's being revealed. So the travel ban, the airline companies were happy about this, and now the rounding up of illegal immigrants. Let's find out which fun group of prison corp guys are going to benefit from this. And I'm sure there's a couple soulless ladies involved in some of these. I don't want to be sexist. Not all greedy corporate soulless assholes are men. Most of them, but there's some horrible women out there too, guys. We got to be fair. GEO Corp, one of the largest private prison corporations in the world, they're all pumped up. More business could be on the way if the Republican Congress proposal to expand incarceration of immigrants into law. So this is what the Republican Congress is trying to do, is they want to expand incarceration of immigrants into a law. And one of the things they've got is Katie's Law. So this woman was killed by a mentally ill immigrant who was captured and sent back to Mexico, and then he came back and committed a heinous crime, which is awful. But of course, the Republicans, fueled by the private prison industry, is like, we got to pass a law. And it's not about, it's like, why do we need more prisons if we're going to build the big wall? If they build the big wall, then they can't come back, right? Oh, maybe you need them to kind of come back because you need cheap labor and you need people to occupy prisons. When you privatize prisons, you need criminals. You need them. I talked about this in the movie 13th. You need prisons. You need, it's like when they abolished slavery, the South needed labor. They needed free labor. So they found that hole in the 13th Amendment saying, you can't be a slave, but unless you break a law. So then they just either concocted a bunch of ridiculous laws or just arrested people for shit they hadn't done. And now We're going to round up the illegals and put them into prisons because the prison industry is going to make a bunch of money. Because they will be providing, quote, detention services. That's what they call a prison, stripping a person of their rights and treating them like an animal. I'm not saying, people that commit heinous crimes need to be behind bars. I'm not saying that. I'm not some dumb hippie that's like, let them all free and just give them, finger paints and they'll become better people. Some people are just inherently evil. But they're going to just get as many people as they can. Just a guy that's snuck into this country and has been caught 2 and 3 times. He's just coming here to work. He's not really committing any crimes, except that one. That guy's going to prison now. Because they're going to provide detention. They already provide detention services to ICE, the Bureau of Prisons, and the U.S. Marshal Service. So since Trump is going to end the catch and release service, and they want to impose a 5-year minimum sentence if you re-enter this country after you've already been caught once, and kick a 5-year minimum sentence because the Republicans are tough on crime. No, they like money. And this is being proposed by Senator Ted Cruz, a Republican from Texas. You remember Teddy, he ran for president. And Representative Stacking, a Republican from Iowa. They're both trying to go after. So if Cruz is your senator or Stacking is your congressman from Iowa, go to stacking.representative.gov or cruz.senate.gov and let them know what you think. A minimum 5-year sentence. And there's all these other companies, Core Civic, Unisys, L3 Tech, CAC One International, Motorola, because one of the things they're putting on the border, they already have it down there. We've already spent billions of dollars on the wall in Mexico. Like, there's already a wall down there, basically. But now it's high-tech cameras and thermal imaging and all this crap. So all these companies are fired up about this. And the Geo Group that I mentioned at the top, well, they gave $50,000 to a Trump super PAC and $45,000 to the Trump campaign. Well, that's weird. The Core Civic Group gave $250,000 for Trump's inauguration. So, and again, now that Trump's in office, all of their stocks are up. Follow the money. Find out where these companies are. Find out who they're giving money to. Find out which senators and Congress people are getting money from them, and let them know you're not a fan, and vote them out, man. Vote them out, and make sure that you're not voting them in with some Democrat that's getting a bunch of paychecks, because they're a bunch of weasels for other stuff. The private prison industry is evil. It is legalized slavery. You go out and create criminals by passing ridiculous laws or arresting people for nonsense. Laws that are already on the books that shouldn't be getting any sort of, as it's explained in 13th, people are just plea bargaining because they don't have the money for a good lawyer. If you have money, a good lawyer is going to say, you're not going to do a minute of time. If you're poor, the public defender goes, just plead guilty and you only do 9 months in prison. And all right, and then 9 months, and then you're in the system. And then you get into a fight or whatever, and you're there longer, and then you can't get a job, and blah, 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 blah. So the private prison industry needs recidivism. They need it. It's part of their industry, and constantly creating new criminals to lock up. Oh, boy. Always gets fun here with little Donnie Trumpy. Little Trumpy and his greedy band of weasels. Pay close attention, folks. Like this. Subscribe. Share it to people. If there's just one of these videos you really dig, share it to people. And, of course, I'll put the article in the show notes. Thank you.